Hello, I'm Rampage665 and today I'll be talking about what I think 2012 has in store for the world of Gunpla. Now I'll be doing this video a slightly bit different from what I did last year, but that's probably a good thing, seeing as my predictions last year were horrible at best. But that leaves me with a lot of room for improvement, which is a good thing, I hope. Looking back to 2011, we've had some, well, not that surprising master grades, such as the Delta Plus and the 00 Riser, and there have been surprises like the master grade Epion and the 007 Swords, which I didn't quite see coming, blindsided me. And in the real grade line we had the Ale Strike and the Freedom, which again pretty much nobody saw coming. Bandai really surprised everyone. But now it's time to try and answer in a good way. What will Bandai do next? What do they have in store for us in terms of master grades, real grades, high grades, and perhaps even a perfect grade? We already know what's in store for the next couple of months, well, more or less. We'll be getting the master grade heavy arms by the end of the month. The Banshee and Banshee Destroy mode in high grade have already been released, and we'll also be getting the first new models of the second generation of Gundam Age, and there are 4 Gundam Seed remastered models coming out. Next month we'll be getting the Master Grade Age 1 Normal as well as the Dual Assault Shroud. In real grade we'll be getting the Sky Grasper along with the other 2 packs for the Strike. More Gundam Age high grades, the Adal, G-Bouncer and Zedora. We'll be getting a brand new high grade from Gundam Seed, the Legao, and another 4 remasters from Gundam Seed. In March we'll be getting the Master Grade Age 1 Titus and the high grade Delta Gundam and the H2 Double Bullet. And for April we'll be getting the Master Grade Age 1 Spallo and the Master Grade Gafran. Now a lot of people have been speculating about Bandai maybe taking it a bit slower with the Master Grade line. We only saw 10 Master Grades last year. Actually 9 if you don't count the re-release of the Wing. But you have to keep in mind Japan had a rough year in 2011, and Bandai had a lot to prepare for with the entire line of Age kits coming out. There have been a lot of them last couple of months, and it's understandable that in the months that they released a real grade that they didn't also release a master grade. And if you take a look at the release schedule for the next couple of months, we're getting 2 master grades in February plus a real grade. April again 2 master grades, and there are 8 or 9 high grades a month. Bandai is not taking things slower. They're really putting out a lot of kits in a short time span here. If Bandai continues at this rate of alternating between 1 master grade and 2 master grades each month, we'll be getting a total of 18 master grades this year. If you don't count the Wing last year, that leaves 2011 at 9. That would mean a doublement in the number of master grades this year. And that's not even counting the real grades that Bandai is going to be releasing, which are pretty much a small master grade, and I'm pretty sure they take as much, if not more, time to prepare. So is Bandai slowing down the master grade lines? I don't think so. I really hope they don't anyway. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that prefers the 1 to 100 scale, and especially the master grade, as they're so incredibly detailed and the inner frames just give it that much of an edge. The real grades are great as well, but I still have that slight preference for the 1/100 grade. Now, what is Bandai planning to do in the master grade line? Well, next month we'll be getting the Dual Gundam, which is the first Master Grade from Gundam Seed we've seen in a pretty long while, and I hope that they'll do at least one more this year, in which case I hope it's the Justice. It doesn't stand the biggest chance, but I really think it's most worthy of getting a Master Grade, just because it will look amazing next to the Master Grade Freedom, which I know it's not really a reason to do a Gundam, but Bandai should really listen to me on this one. Do a Justice Master Grade, please. Now, a lot of people are taking the Dual Gundam as a sign that Bandai's kind of repeating what they did last year for Gundam Wing, namely giving us the first 5 Gundams from Gundam Seed, which would mean that we'd be getting the Buster, Blitz, and Aegis later on this year. I don't think it'll happen. It could happen. It's a fairly good shot, but I just don't think that Bandai's gonna go that way. I think they've had enough of the complete the set for a while after doing the Wing Gundams. And speaking of the Gundam Wing series, I know a lot of people are still hoping that Bandai's going to do Nataku and the Heavy Arms and Sandrock Customs after Heavy Arms is released, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, I know they did the that site custom, but that thing was incredibly popular and it had the added bonus of the giant backpack, especially with the Heavy Arms and the Sandrock. I mean, they're just way too similar to the versions we're getting right now. Nataku, maybe it has enough differences to warrant another Master Grade release, but the other two, they're too similar. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bandai could still do them. I just don't see it happening this year, maybe in 2 or 3 years. Hey, they even re-released the version Katoki of the Wing Gundam, with just a slightly different color scheme and added a little action-based connector. I mean, they could release practically the same kit again with different box art, but I just don't see it happening this year. But if Bandai does another Gundam Wing kit this year, well, I really hope it's gonna be the Tallgeese one. I know it's a long shot, but I still have to mention it because it's one of my all-time favorites and a lot of people really like that thing. Bandai has to do it eventually. Why not this year? I know it probably won't be, but one can only hope, right? And if it's not the Tallgeese, then maybe the Wing Zero. However, I really doubt Bandai's doing another Master Grade Wing kit in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe even. I think they really had enough of Gundam Wing Master Grades after all the ones we've seen in the last. Now, another thing we're being confronted with in the next couple of months is Gundam Age Master Grades. We've already seen 4 announcements. What are they doing next? Maybe a GXS, but I think they're gonna hold off on doing anything other than that from the first generation for the next while. Maybe around September, October they'll start doing Generation 2 Master Grades, probably starting with the H2 normal and then moving down the line. However, if they're planning on doing a ZSR in October or November, maybe we'll see a regular ZS first around June or something. But I really doubt they'll be doing a ZS this early. And of course we can't just forget about Gundam Unicorn, so the Banshee is probably the safest bet. However, since we're getting a high-grade Delta Gundam, maybe Bandai will do that one too. I mean, they already have the Delta Plus lying around. Why not do a slight variation and create the Delta Gundam? It'll be One of the more expensive master grades with all the gold coating, but I wouldn't put it past them. That's enough about master grades. Now let's talk real grade. We've seen the Ailstrike and the Freedom Gundam. The launcher pack and the sword pack are on the way for the Strike. Is Bandai going to do some more Gundam Seed for the real grade line? Maybe, maybe not. Honestly, I think they'll move on to something else. If they don't, I hope again they'll go with the Justice. However, I really don't think they'll stick with Gundam Seed. They've done two and a half if you count the packs for the Strike. I think they're going to do something else. Now, are they going to start with the H1 normal and maybe do some variations, or are they going to move on to maybe Gundam 00, in which case the Exia, Quanta, or even the 00 Riser are options? Maybe they'll go back to the old Universal Century stuff, Mark II Gundam or Yakushiki, but with the Yakushiki, there's all the gold plating, and I really doubt that Bandai can put out a real grade for just the 2,500 yen price point they've set. With the Freedom, I already had some doubts that Bandai would stick to 2,500 yen because the wings are, a lot more parts and plastic. Somewhere down the line, they'll have to adjust the price. There are going to be bigger real grades, at least I hope there'll be, but they just can't keep putting everything out for 2,500 yen. At some point, they're going to start losing money if that's their plan. Another good idea would be a new Gundam. Maybe something from Gundam Wing, maybe a Wing Zero or the Wing Gundam itself. However, transformations in the Wing and the Wing Zero might be a problem, which is probably the same reason they'll never do a Zeta or a Unicorn. Well, at least not in the first couple of years. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, if they start putting out a lot of real grades in the next couple of years, they might develop enough of a feel for the technology to put out a transforming Gundam, but they're kind of forced to do a full transformation. They can't just do a parts forming like they did in the high grades. The real grade line has put out such quality that everybody's expecting it to be a full transforming unit. And the Unicorn especially could be extremely tricky to do in a small scale. I just can't see Bandai putting out 2 separate real grades for Unicorn mode and Destroy mode. Maybe in a couple of years, but this year, next year, I just can't see it happening. Another thing to consider is maybe Bandai will move away from lead Gundams in the real grade line, and they'll start doing some more mass-produced units from the earlier Universal Century, in which case we might see a Goof, a Zaku 1, a Jim, Nemo, or a Galgoog even. But honestly, we've only seen a couple releases in the real grade line. It's really hard to predict what Bandai's going to be doing next. There's just way too much stuff that they can do with it, and honestly, I'm just guessing here. I mean, there are no safe bets when it comes to the real grade line. Now, onto the perfect grades. We didn't see a perfect grade release in 2011. A lot of people were hoping, but no chance. But what about end of this year? There are 3 top candidates in my eyes. The Freedom, because they already did the Strike Freedom, and with Gundam Seed's anniversary, Freedom would be a nice touch. And another thing to consider is Gundam Unicorn is wrapping up by the end of the year. Maybe for celebrating the release of Episode 6, they'll do a perfect grade Unicorn, which might be the safest bet overall. I mean, Unicorn is
enormously popular, Bandai might be doing one. Another thing to consider is the Age 1 normal, or perhaps the Age 2 or Age 3, depending how the series evolves. The Mega Scale 1/48 Age 1 normal sold pretty darn well, I'd say. There are a lot of people willing to pick it up in a larger scale. Why not do a perfect grade? I mean, Bandai's putting out a lot of Age kits. Why not a perfect grade? Now, onto the high grade line. Obviously, we'll be getting some more Unicorn high grades in the next year. The Delta Gundam has already been confirmed, but we'll probably see enough of them in the coming months. But a big seller over the last 2 years has been G Gundam. We've seen the Master Gundam and Funsaiki and the Shining Gundam last year. A lot of people are hoping for the other 4 members of the Shuffle Alliance, the Bolt Gundam, the Dragon Gundam, the Rose Gundam, and the Maxter. I'm not sure. Bandai might be doing them. I kind of sort of doubt it. Maybe they'll do some of the even more crazy designs, but you gotta figure that'll draw less people in. The really crazy designs, they're fun, but they won't sell as well as the God Gundam or the Shining Gundam. Bandai might even leave G Gundam alone for the high grade line and move on to something else from the 90s, like Wing. Maybe they'll pick up the Gundam X line where they left off with the X Divider. Maybe they'll even move on to Victory Gundam. But honestly, I can't say for sure. I mean, hell, I'm not sure about any of this stuff. There's still a lot of stuff from Zeta and Double Zeta that they've overlooked. The Masala, the Bylund, Jared Mesa's final suit. Maybe they'll even start doing 2.0s like they did in the Master Grade line. There are a lot of the early high grades that, well, they're pretty embarrassing when compared to the newer releases, both in detail and movability. I mean, the early Jims and Zakus are no match for the stuff that's being released these days. But what about some of the other lines? The Mega Scale 1/48 seemed like it was, well, dying off like the first grade line, but the H1 normal really sold well, and might be enough to bring new life into the line. Bandai's probably planning to do a H2 normal, and even an H3 later on, and depending on how they sell, you might be seeing a lot more of the Mega Scale models. Another thing to consider is first grade. It was, well, it pretty much died, but with the AG line doing pretty well, maybe they'll try to resurrect the first grade models into the AG line and bring some of the technology into it for the arcade games. Who knows? Now, this video's been going on for long enough, so I'll be wrapping things up here. But now comes the important part. I want to know what you think. Leave a comment, post a video reply, but tell me what you think. Did I say something that's just plain wrong? Did I forget something? What do you guys think Bandai will be doing in all of its lines? Please let me know, because I'm really curious about what you guys think. Okay? So see you guys next time. I'm Rampage665, and thanks for watching this.